What we have seen since the beginning of the year is a descent into tyranny and a brazen abuse of power.
English.
Those entrusted with power appear determined to destabilize what is left of our political institutions and have committed themselves to obliterating the guardrails of constitutional governance. From the theater of the absurd, stage in Rivers State, with puppets on strings controlled by directors in Abuja, to the dance of shame performed by the National Assembly in their rush to suspend the Constitution and endorse through the back door the usurpation of powers by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, from the Senate shameless bid to silence Senator Natasha Akoti-Uduaghan for demanding that the President of the Nigerian Senate should uphold the moral standard required of that office, to the uncouth outburst of an undistinguished senatorial misfit who tried in vain to silence the distinguished citizens attempting to testify on behalf of Senator Akoti-Uduaghan. It is clear that our so-called leaders are determined to turn Nigeria into a mafia state. At the center of this political banditry is the motor park brand of politics, nurtured by the old brigade politicians, and in recent times by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
He don't call the name.
Mr. President, it is through your influence that the Nigerian National Assembly has become a haven for legislative rascality.
Are you serious?
Mr. President, it's under your watch that the National Assembly has become an extension of the executive, grossly violating the principles of separation of powers and rubber stamping the whims and caprices of your office, all while singing the international anthem of psychoviolence on your mandate, which shall stand.
Don't mind them.
Mr. President, thanks to your political machinations, Nigeria is now bedeviled by a captured National Assembly, the most ineffective in its checks and balances role since the start of the Fourth Republic.
The most ineffective.
In 2006, the Fourth National Assembly had the audacity to reject the tenure extension bid of a sitting president.
Yes.
In 2010, the Sixth National Assembly summoned the courage to stand against the power hijacking cabal and restore Nigeria to the path of constitutionality by invoking the doctrine of necessity.
I agree.
In 2011, the House of Representatives of the Seventh National Assembly had the courage to elect its leaders, as did the Senate of the Eighth National Assembly in 2015, defying executive interference. This National Assembly, the 10th, has by its unconstitutional endorsement of the President's abuse of powers proven to be the most spineless in our recent history.
I agree. Most useless.
Through its actions and inactions, the National Assembly has in effect become the 48th member of the President's cabinet.
As in
While a cabinet minister by the name of Wike, is it Wike or Wike or Wiki? Why a cabinet minister has more or less become a third-time state governor in Rivers State, pampered by the indulgences of the president. Recent events have made it clear to Nigerians that had this assembly been in place in 2006, when the third-term agenda was proposed, our democracy would have since morphed into one of Africa's lamentable tales of sit-tight dictatorship.
They would have approved it.
To the president of the Nigerian Senate, who has not heeded the call to subject himself to an unbiased investigation, to clear his name of the allegations leveled against him, and under whose leadership the National Assembly has become a carry-go legislature, hiding under the umbrella of technicalities and a dubious voice voting system. I leave you and your conscience with the words of Frederic Bessières, former deputy of the French National Assembly. He said, and I quote, "When plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it.
Yes.
To the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, under whose brand of politics the institution of legislative oversight is collapsing and our democracy is faced with an existential threat, I say, Mr. President, Nigeria is too delicate for this kind of politics.
Too delicate.
If this state capture was what you meant by Emilokan, it is an anticlimax that can only be counterproductive at the end. I urge you, Mr. President, to think deeply and reflect on these words. No man is wise enough, nor good enough to be trusted with unlimited power.
No
Mr.
man.
President, please stop playing God.
You deserve a round of applause, Future. Tunde Bakare. Okay, so let me tell you who this man is in case you don't know him. When ACN merged with those northern parties that time, they wanted to remove PDP by all means. That year when Goodluck Jonathan are president. So when those other parties come merge, they now picked Buhari to become. I didn't merge that time. No, they have not merged. They have not merged at the time. They picked Buhari to become their presidential candidate. Tunde Bakare was the vice presidential candidate. And first of all, run with Buhari. That he lost the election before Buhari could drop him, could pick Emil Shimbajo for the next election. When Goodluck Ebele Jonathan removed subsidy, this was one of the men that championed that protest they did in Ojota. He's the pastor of Lateran Assembly in Lagos. This Tinubu election with Tinubu won, so he run for primary, but only one vote he gets. One at least zero. He shall not pass one vote when he gets. All this while he has been quiet. As Buhari they mismanage this country, he has been quiet because he's a Buhari guy. So even when Tinubu enter and Tinubu they do all this, he has been quiet. And people have been asking, where were you? Because when PDP they government just now, we are hearing your voice. Anyway, now he has found his voice. We tell him that say Tinubu na general market, he go touch everybody. He don't touch Tunde Bakare. You see, normal for Nigeria, yeah, when you win presidential election, you have three sets of people that will checkmate you once you want to misbehave. The legislators, which is the Senate and the House of Rep. The judiciary, which is our judges, and the state governors. You see these three different set of people, they have the powers to checkmate a governor. But you see this particular presidency, sorry, they have the power to checkmate a president. But you see this particular presidency, both legislation, both judiciary, both the governors, you don't capture everybody. Everybody they sing in news now. That's why they hear yesterday. According to this day, that 4 governors are likely to defect from PDP to APC very soon. Anyway, whether we shout or not, Tinubu.com, we'll go wait me 8 years complete.